Teaching English Radio India.
A radio series for teachers of English.
Brought to you by the British Council. Hello and welcome. I'm Bibash Dash with another program for teachers of English in India. This is our second program on teaching pronunciation. And as usual, we hear from many different teachers from across India. Here are just some of those who are joining us today.
I'm Mumtaz from Gadag in Karnataka.
I am Deepak from Maharashtra.
I'm Kamini. I'm from Delhi.
I'm Poonam from Ulhasnagar, Thane district.
I am Anuja from Gwalpara in Assam.
I'm Altaf from Raichur in Karnataka.
As we listen to teachers' tips throughout this program, think about your students' main problems with pronunciation and what short activities you could try out in your classroom. Teacher Altaf starts his course by getting his students to learn to say the alphabet correctly. He wants them to distinguish vowels from consonants, know the correct order, and overcome their problems with how to say certain letters.
For example, L is pronounced as yal, M is pronounced as yum, H at times it is pronounced as yach and h. And the teacher gives instructions like this. If there is a vowel sound, the child has to clap. If there is a consonant, the child has to say. So from A to Z.
So, Altaf goes like this around the class, with each child speaking in turn. B, C, D, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, Z. So he practices sounds and the letters of the alphabet all in one go. This can be done as a quick game. If a student gets a letter wrong or claps at the wrong point, then they're out. And it goes on to the next student in the circle. The difficulty he is helping with, often called mother tongue interference, is when our students have to make sounds that are just not found in their first language.
The major problem is an interference from the mother tongue. If you are from up north, a consonant cluster, for example, the word sixths would have k, sir, th at the end, or a word like desk would be a huge problem, or a word like school. A speaker would bring in a vowel sound. For example, he would make it iskul or sakul, some kind of way of bringing in a vowel sound so that the cluster is broken.
That was teacher and trainer Mala. And you may remember that last time she demonstrated how to use minimal pair exercises to help students work on sounds that are difficult to distinguish. Mala now mentions some other sounds that can be tricky for our students. So how would you help students with a word like sixth or desk or ask? To help, teachers can slowly model the separate sounds k, s, and th, sixth, sixth, and then put them together again at normal speed. Sixth. You can also use the board to show them if they are making an extra sound. For example, you write up iskul and put a big cross through that first sound, E. It's not iskul, it's school. Of course, getting pronunciation right needs a lot of repetition and a lot of practice. Mumtaz's motto is a little often.
Pronunciation is not a subject to be taken independently. It's not like that. But pronunciation is an everlasting process. It goes every day, now and then.
Mumtaz makes sure she spends a minute or two during each lesson to focus on pronunciation. A really big issue for learners is the relationship between writing and speaking in English. Most Indian languages are phonetic. So, if you know how to write a word, then you usually know how to say it. But as Ashok points out, this doesn't work for English because it is so very irregular.
Pronunciation is a big issue for my students.
they are very much got habit of writing Marathi and Hindi, and how they speak, that is what they write, and English is somewhat different, so they have got a big problem for that.
To get their students used to the pronunciation of English, teachers should try to make sure their students do a lot of listening to the teacher, to visitors to the school, to the radio, to recordings, TV, cartoons, films, whatever is available. This is one of the main ways that we can help out students, provide lots of opportunities for listening to the language. Here's Poonam.
If you can't pronounce properly, you can't write properly. So it is very essential for a child to listen properly.
But what about the problems caused by irregular spelling? My co-presenter Manisha describes her approach.
I don't make a big deal about this, but I do show my students how English spelling is not regular, so they need to remember how to say words as well as how to spell them. For example, they soon get used to writing he said, S-A-I-D, and they know that it rhymes with bed, B-E-D. This is where songs and chants can be useful from early on. My students gradually get used to the fact that many words that rhyme have quite different spelling patterns.
So we need to get our learners slowly accustomed to the fact that spelling and pronunciation are often two separate systems. R-O-W could be row or row. They are different words with different pronunciation but the same spelling. We call them homonyms. And students need to guess the meaning from the context. Equally tricky, of course, are words that sound the same but have different spellings, called homophones. Here's Altaf.
R-I-G-H-T, right, and W-R-I-T-E, right, is an example of a homophone. Both these words sound same, but they differ in spelling, they differ in meaning.
There are lots of quick activities your students can try out in groups to match up words that have the same pronunciation or make sentences with words that have different meanings. Let's go back to Manisha.
Some words have silent letters in them, like knife, the K is silent, or in the word through, T-H-R-O-U-G-H has lots of letters that are silent. Older students and teachers, of course, should use a good dictionary as this has the sound pattern as well as the spelling. But with younger students, the teacher will need to help.
Knife? No. It's knife. Don't say knife. Knife. It is knife.
Here, helping her younger students is Pradnya.
Students, repeat after me. Look at my mouth. Knife. Knife.
In the case of silent letters, it is useful to write sentences on the board, get students to copy them down, and put a circle around the silent letters. I'm sure you can think of many ways to quickly practice these tricky groups of words.
You are listening to Teaching English Radio, India, brought to you by the British Council.
Today we are looking at pronunciation, sounds, intonation, stress, and rhythm.
An area to consider here is the number of different vowel sounds in particular a word has. So having the knowledge of how we can break a word down into number of parts will really help us get better at the way we pronounce the words we hear.
This is Kamini talking about syllables. All English words with 2 syllables or more have one that is stressed more than the others.
For example, my name is Kamini and my name has 3 sounds, Kamini, with the first sound being the stronger one. So I could say my name has 3 sounds or 3 syllables with the first sound or the first syllable stressed.
This is how Kamini introduces the idea of syllables and word stress.
A fairy went a marketing. She bought a colored bird. It sang the sweetest, shrillest song. That ever she had heard.
Reciting songs and short poems can be very effective for pronunciation. They are memorable and popular, especially with younger learners. In those lines sung in Shobha's classroom, they hear that bird rhymes with heard, two very different spellings. And when students can also find out the words, then they can discover for themselves the link between sound and writing, as discussed here by Poonam, who is a teacher and a mother.
My own kids, they improved their English by listening to English music, and the word which they are unable to understand, they take out the dictionary at the moment and go through that word. My own kids, really they have improved their English by listening to English music and watching English movies. I recommend my own students also to do the same.
These are ideas that can help where your students have access to outside resources which you haven't got at school. And there are plenty of chances available to give your students practice of stress and intonation patterns. Remember this great example from Deepak?
Once I met a black cat with fur, soft and new. I said, "Good evening, cat." She said, "Mew, mew, mew."
Notice how he emphasizes the stress patterns of English. This will help his students who can carry this over to other things they say in English. And Mumtaz has a suggestion for helping students with intonation in questions.
Pronunciation and intonation for questioning is also an important thing. For example, there are a number of type of questions. For example, alternative questions. First we use rising tone and then at the end falling tone. Is it a fish or a mammal? Something like that.
Is it a fish or a mammal?
Is it a fish or a mammal?
And secondly, for WH questions, at the end we use falling tone. For example, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
In yes or no type questioning, we use rising tone at the end of such questioning. For example, are you happy?
Are you happy?
Are you happy?
Are you happy? If so, this is something you can try in your classroom. Now finally moving from intonation to mood. Anuja has a quick game to show how the way you say a single word can convey different meanings.
I just pronounced a word, a single word, and I wanted Dim to tell in what mood I was. Like I pronounced wait, 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 wait. And I told him to tell me in which mood I pronounced all these weights, all these 4 weights.
Could you say wait in 4 different ways? Or, oh really? Could your students then try it on you or each other? Oh really? Oh really? Oh really? It's a fun way to demonstrate that how we say a word carries a lot of hidden meaning. Well, I'm afraid there's no time left today. Oh really? So let's summarize the points from today's program on pronunciation. And please think about what you could try out in your own classroom. Give students as much listening practice as possible in class and out of class. Songs, films, cartoons, the radio, recordings, all of these are a big help. We can best help our students with their pronunciation by doing very short activities that focus on specific problems. We need to work on tricky areas affected by our students' mother tongues. This includes particular sounds like b and w, words like sixth and school, and problems caused by English spelling. Songs, poems, and chants will reinforce the intonation and stress patterns of English. Practice the intonation of different kinds of questions. Is it a bird or a mammal? And have fun saying wait, wait, or even wait. That's all for today. I hope we've given you a few ideas to try out with your students, or at least discuss with other teachers. For now, from me, Bibash Dash, it's goodbye and happy teaching.